Maxey! Wow, what a play! He's got Bogdanovich thinking about a three. There it is! Yes! From beyond. Oh, and there's five. Coming up with a steal. Curry open. It's for three. Yes!
And now, Morning Cup of Joe. Yo, good morning, Sixers fam. What is going on? Welcome to Morning Cup of Joe. Today, we are breaking down the Sixers' loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. What's going on, Tiago?
What's going on, Chris? It's good to be back. It's been a while. It was a very, very long Western road trip. That was not good for my health or my sleep. But it's good that the Sixers are back, even though the results last night were not as expected. But it was still good to have them in a normal time.
Absolutely. I hope everyone here had a great Thanksgiving. Sorry for the, no content in the last 2 weeks, but sleep is king here, at least in my family. So that's way more important when it comes to this stuff. So let's break it down, man. We're going to break down the second overtime. Tiago, let's start off the tape here. Before we start, though, any general thoughts on what you saw in the second overtime?
Yeah, I mean, much like the second overtime, first overtime, and at the end of the second half, one of the things that immediately stands out when you watch last night, and it's a common theme in how the Sixers operate late in games, is it's not really having any type of foundation, any type of cohesion in how they operate offense. And I thought that, again, showed up last night through poor shot selection, turnovers. And in the second overtime, really, that ended up being what cost them the game. We try to highlight exactly what happened during the second overtime, which seemed to drive the outcome of the game. And one of the things that stood out when you watch specifically the second overtime is how they kept running the same play over and again, and eventually kind of bit them in the because Minnesota eventually got a beat on what they were doing. And that's kind of what happened on the last Maxey turnover. Now, Maxey, had his own miscues on that play, but we're going to try to highlight the common theme that happened in that second overtime that eventually kind of led to the loss last night. So yeah, you can go ahead and start running it. I mean, we'll go through the plays. Some of them will be buckets because the execution was solid, but eventually you see a pattern on what happened. So
yeah, my quick take before we start the tape is Tyrese Maxey. Since Joel Embiid, that injury, the dude has been one of the best in the NBA in fourth quarter points. In the fourth quarter, in overtimes, the dude was 1 of 5 from the field for 3 points. He had 3 total points in that stretch. So that is something that Doc Rivers needs to figure out. Absolutely needs to figure out what Tyrese Maxey's role is on this team with Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. And he didn't barely touch the ball until the second quarter. Or I think it was the third quarter or something. And he had 8 points. Yeah, it was the third quarter. He had 8 points in the third quarter here. Tyrese Maxey, 4 turnovers is the most he's had in his Sixers career last night. He's never had more than 4 before. So not your typical Tyrese Maxey game. Let's start the tape.
Yes, I mean, the basic theme of what the Sixers trying to get done offensively in second overtime was running Embiid and Tyrese Maxey picking pops to free up Embiid out on the perimeter, get the defense out to rotate, scramble, try to find the open shooter, and so forth. But and Chris, if you just go back on this one play again, I just want folks to pay attention on D'Angelo Russell because what D'Angelo is trying to do here is really hedge against Maxey attacking the basket. So the first play, if you go back just one more time, I just want to show it. Sorry about that, Chris. Just one more time. Russell's making a straight beeline towards Maxey on this play because he's thinking Maxey may be able to rise here or attack the basket. So, he's trying to protect, his center, make sure that he forces the ball out of Maxey's hand. So you see it right off the bat how D'Angelo's really playing Tyrese, hedging very strongly against him. And Tyrese makes, the right read here, dishes the ball over to Joel, and that's where the kind of ball rotation happens. And I think it ends up in the Yang missing a somewhat or is that Harris? Yeah, sorry, Harris. And then Thibault, who had a horrendous game, missing the tip in off the miss. So that's kind of sets the baseline of what the Sixers are trying to run, which was basically Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey pick and rolls.
Yeah, next play, we have a double team on Joel Embiid down low, which would pretty much every single possession.
But this is I wanted to point that out because, Embiid had an unbelievable second overtime. I mean, I thought without his shot making, the Sixers wouldn't even score a point in that overtime. I mean, he made two baskets that were unbelievable. But on this play, like if you run it, I mean, they've clearly just completely swarmed them. And if you look at Georges Niang, like he is wide open in the corner. I mean, wide open. And Joel, probably didn't see him, which again, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback and dissect these in slow motion. And then when things are moving fast, it's much harder. But you got to see that, man. I mean, that is a wide open corner three. And he tried to go up with that contested look. I'm not sure it was the best decision there, for instance. And now again, the same thing, like third possession, similar type of look. So again, Chris, if you could just go back one more time. They're trying to run the same type of action. And you see once again, D'Angelo Russell go over the screen, force the ball out of Maxey's hand. Maxey makes a good bounce pass. Joel finishes through contact. Good.
I want to see more of that. I really want to see more of that from Joel Embiid. That roll into the basket, right. You don't see it that often, right, Tiago? Like that is something that I think could really be explored in this offense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought Joel did a good job of making himself big on that play. You see, like he's right on Maxey's passing window. Like he flashed right in front of Maxey's passing window, made it very easy for Tyrese to make the bounce pass. But again, the key thing here is D'Angelo Russell playing the way that D'Angelo Russell played Maxey on this play, made it somewhat easy for him to make that bounce pass. So again, we're 3 possessions in, and we already ran the same play 2 times in the second overtime. And this is where we get to a point now where it's just isolation basketball. Isolation basketball. Joel is feeling it. He hit this phenomenal shot.
Look at my man Seth Curry is not even like doing a goddamn thing in that corner. Like he knows he's not getting that ball.
Yeah, I mean that's the Sixers' offense in leading games. Very static.
That just looks checked out.
Yeah, exactly. Again, another phenomenal bucket. Everybody just sits around the perimeter. It's all on Joel to hit that one-step fade away.
What's Steph doing there? Oh, Seth is just walking around on the corner on the edge here.
It's like this is either gonna go in or I better be ready to run back and defend. Yeah, I mean it's again everybody's staying around. Joel makes
here's a turnover.
So I don't know if we're gonna get to the point where we get to the last play.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
I hear we got a Niang. I think a miss here in the corner.
Yeah.
There are 4 seconds left. This is just the worst. All right.
Yeah, this is the worst inbound play in the history of the universe.
Look at this play. There's Seth Curry wide open at the top.
Yeah, and
look at that.
Joel probably should have made that pass, but I don't completely put it on Joel to make that pass because the way that Doc structured the play, he had Joel receiving the inbound pass, trapped in the corner. So you pretty much cut the court in half for Embiid, and the double, triple team is going to flash. So it's like a beehive effect, right? You're trying to maneuver out of the situation with 2-3 seconds left. Yes, Curry's open, and Joe should have probably seen him earlier, but it is really, really hard for him to see that based on where he's standing on the court. And being the fact that Joel is not the greatest guy in terms of like reading, double teams to begin with. I mean, he made a couple of turnovers late in games as a result of that. So I thought the way they structured the play was kind of asinine to begin with.
Yeah. And of course, Joel Embiid is going to put it up here and get blocked.
Yeah. No chance.
Yeah.
But really, where you want to get to, I don't know if you got it, Chris.
Yeah. Here's the turnover. Yeah.
I don't know if you got the whole play. If you go back, all right. So that's a shot.
Yeah. Here's the turnover. Where the Sixers are up 1, I think.
Yeah, perfect. So if you just stop it right there, I mean, we already talked about them running the same play 3 times in overtime, and now with the game kind of on the line, they're gonna run the same play again. Now, if you guys go back and think about what we were talking about earlier with D'Angelo Russell, how D'Angelo Russell played Maxey those first 2-3 times, D'Angelo hedged heavily against Maxey, right? So went over the screen, flash towards Maxey. Now this time, if we go back again, Chris, just one more time, D'Angelo, he goes over the screen, but in the back of his mind at this time, he's probably thinking, "There's no way in hell Tyrese is going to shoot this ball, or there's no way in hell Maxey's going to attack this off the drive because of what he's seeing." So he's got to build that mental picture. So if you were back and running, I would pay attention to D'Angelo Russell on the play. Like he's like, "Nope." And go straight back towards Embiid. And that is a byproduct of putting the same stuff on tape, but not doing anything differently off that. So, I mean, as soon as he curled over that screen, he's like, nope. Now, granted, I thought that Maxey, the way that he approached that play, and that's something we talked about a lot with Tyrese, is having that pick and roll feel, right? So, he comes off the screen, and in his mind, he's immediately thinking pass now, and make that immediate read. Mm-hmm. And if you see some of the best pick and roll ball handlers, again, we always use a term like Chris Paul as a optimal example. They have a way of maneuvering the screen and angling their bodies that creates the illusion of him attacking or him, dribbling in the lane, which kind of ties up, D'Angelo Russell's defender in this case, not to immediately flash towards Embiid, because the way that I thought Maxey approached the possession, he sold the pass very early with his eyes. And that kind of was also a giveaway for Russell to be like, hey, I better go over there and cover Embiid because this is going to be a pass. So I thought that a combination of running the same play over and over again and Maxey not having that pick and roll awareness, pick and roll feel, and then again, selling the pass kind of created that turnover effect. But to me, it was strictly a result of them running the play 3 or 4 times in double overtime. And it's something that Doc has talked about in the past, right? Feeding I think he said the pig was the name. If the same play works, go over and over and over again until somebody stops it. Mm-hmm. Well, they stopped it and they won the game as a result of that. So,
yeah, Maxey was 1 of 5 in the fourth quarter in both overtimes. And this is it, Tiago. This is what you're going to have to just grow and allow Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey to just take their, growing pains and work through them, because no Ben Simmons trade on the horizon. I don't know what they're going to be able to add to this roster. That pick and pop game, that pick and roll game between Maxey and Joel Embiid is so critical moving forward with this offense. So, any other segments, things you want to talk about before we get into my top 5 plays?
Yeah, I mean, the other big takeaway from the game, I thought, was the fact that Thibault was starting. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of kind of buzz around, I think where folks thought that this should be the lineup that the Sixers should have going forward with Danny Green coming off the bench. And I think Thibault might have started as a byproduct of Danny Green being on minutes restriction. I am not a fan of Thibault starting at all. I think that we saw early in the game was a complete wreck of spacing around Joel Embiid. I don't understand why people do not want Ben Simmons on the starting lineup, but love the fact that Thibault should be starting, because Thibault creates kind of the same space and effects without the playmaking, without, some of the other things that ball handling that Ben Simmons brings to the court. So it doesn't really make much sense why he would do that, besides the fact that Danny Green was, injured on minutes restriction, and maybe he wanted to have a defensive stopper to Anthony Edwards' offensive game. It didn't work at all. And when Danny Green was on the court, I mean, the offense immediately took off, as it should be. So I'm hoping that, that is kind of a byproduct of Danny Green's injury and not exactly how the Sixers want to operate offensively moving forward, because there were possessions where they would just leave Thibault wide open under the rim and double team Joel Embiid like there was 4 players on the court. So I'm hoping that that changes the next couple of games.
All right, let's roll on to my top 5 plays. Here are the honorable mentions. Here we got an awesome block from Andre Drummond here on Nas Reed. That was pretty epic. This will be this is supposed to release at 7 a.m. this morning. This reel. Stripped by Tobias Harris leads Matisse Thybulle in transition, and Joel Embiid hits the 3-pointer to cut that Timberwolves lead.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, just Tyrese Maxey's finishing is just a joy to watch. I love this. Just acrobatic right-handed English off the backboard, sexy as hell. Sexy.
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels is a long, athletic guy. That's very impressive.
Yeah. Here we have another great pass from Andre Drummond here. Finds that's Tobias Harris cutting to the basket.
Yeah, the Sixers did a lot of that yesterday during the game. Some of them didn't connect. They ran, I think, Korkmaz had a cut at one point. This one grab from Harris. It's good offense. I wish they did more of that. And we saw them play the Warriors a couple nights ago. The Warriors just knifed them, man. This cutting, moving, passing. It's beautiful to watch. The
cutting is an enigma, Tiago, because the Sixers are among, like, in terms of like efficiency wise, they run it literally like top 5 in the league, but they're literally the worst team in terms of frequency. I don't understand why they don't do more of it.
Your answer is good as mine.
Same for Matisse Thybulle. Like, he's nearly, in terms of cutting to the basket, he's nearly at his field goals this season compared to last year. Just do more of it. Like, keep doing it, Doc. Come on.
Right. Yeah, that's what I hope they would ever do, get to a point like that. Brett Brown's offense was heavily cut before they made the trades on Horford and whatnot, but they have not been a good cutting team since.
Did I miss you speaking about Curry not getting a pass? Yeah, we talked a lot about that. So make sure, just go back. We definitely talked about how Seth Curry was just nonchalant, hanging out there on the 3-point line, just doing nothing and just ball watching. We have Diggs in the house going, "What's up? Thanks for joining. Good morning. Good morning." And Andre Drummond tip has to be in the top 5. We'll have to wait and see. We're not to my top 5 yet. We're watching some honorable mentions. Here we have D. Russ dribbling the ball up the court, and a nice block from Tyrese Maxey. Here you get another scene of it. Maxey, love it, love it, love it. Another fast break from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Niang strips. I think that was McDaniels.
Yeah,
leads to Korkmaz. Yeah, then it gets to Niang, and this is eventually will go to Tyrese Maxey for the pull-up jumper. Fun little stretch. Yeah. Oh, that's not a pull-up. That's a slow runner. Another honorable mention: Towns versus Embiid. Love this play. Gets stripped by Danny Green, who I think had 4 steals in the third quarter. He was a monster in that third quarter. And he had, I think, a 3 or 2. And that leads to a pull-up 3 from Tyrese Maxey. Major moment in this game where the Sixers really came back. And with that, we get to my number 5 play of moment of the game last night. Here we have a defense play with Matisse Thybulle, steals it and dunks it here and ties the game with 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Not the best Matisse Thybulle game, but that was a fun moment for sure.
Yeah, I thought they would pull away after that. It was disappointing to see them not take full opportunity of that momentum.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of Towns didn't even play in the overtimes. Like, you lost to the Timberwolves without Carl Anthony Towns.
Anybody who's seen the Timberwolves play late in games, I'm sure Doc Rivers has seen them. It's D'Angelo Russell time, and they've lost many games as a result of that.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he was on, man, absolutely on. And the Sixers, knowing that, did very little to get the ball out of his hands, which I thought was something very annoying, to say the least, because, a simple trap, a simple double, and now somebody else has to go ahead and score. And we saw Anthony Edwards try to duplicate that, and he's not nearly as effective. He's still young, still inconsistent. So I thought the Sixers didn't do a really good job of, making other guys on the Timberwolves pay.
Yeah. All right, number 4 here. Joel Embiid is backing up Karl-Anthony Towns. Oh, there's a couple passes here from Joel Embiid reading the double team, finds Curry in the corner for 3, and we get another one, same scenario. Double team comes in. Joel Embiid makes a nice quick move, finds Curry for another 3 in the corner. Love seeing Joel grow with the double teams. So here we go. Number 3, here's my top 3. Man, I love Tyrese Maxey putting defenders on skates here. Like this crossover is just absolutely sick. Just a lightning quick move by Tyrese Maxey. That crossover is just brings me back to the days of Iverson right there, man. That's thing of beauty.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Oh,
Right there.
oh, I could watch that all day, man. Love it.
It's becoming his bread and butter scoring play. And then you find it very, very hard to stop.
Yeah. Number 2 play of the game. Of course, it's the Andre Drummond tip in here. What an epic moment here in overtime. I can't believe that even happened. Like I thought I was ready to, because we did post game last night and I was like getting ready to go. And I was watching the game with Justin and he was like, they tied it. I was like, what? I had to like run back and get ready for another overtime.
My favorite part of this play is Joel Embiid like clotheslining his defender, like a punch to the throat, and the ref just like, "Yeah, no foul," and then Drummond just like going up.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Joel just kind of clotheslined his defender.
Yeah, you're right.
He pushed him like 5 yards back, and just punched him right in the throat. I was like, I love it. That's what you got to do, man. In moments like that, desperation, you got to try everything.
We have Ben in the house. Good day. Dives in Tiago. Good morning, Ben. Is Russell a top 10 point guard in the league? I don't watch enough Timberwolves basketball to even comment on that. Sorry, dude.
Is Russell a point guard? Because to me, he's like a unconscious shooting guard. I'm not sure he's a true point guard. I don't think he's top 10. I think he's what we saw yesterday was an outlier, not necessarily how he is late in games. I mean, we can point to many times late in games where he tried a similar approach and just shot the Wolves right off the win column. So, but he's a good player, man. I mean, I'm not here to criticize D'Angelo. I just think that, folks are going to use the term now. Ben Simmons is a guy who potentially can get for D'Angelo Russell. I'm not sure we'll go that route.
7 of 13. And my last number 1 play of the game here has to be Joel Embiid's shot making in the fourth quarter and the overtime. 7 of 13 from Joel Embiid in fourth quarter and overtimes last night, which is great because considering, that's kind of been a struggle for him. He's had fourth quarters this season where he hasn't had his legs and he's, focused on scoring on the perimeter. Definitely wasn't dominating down low. That was kind of the storyline of the game. The points in the paint. The Timberwolves just crushed the Sixers in the paint last night. However, just Joel's magic was terrific. Just terrific.
Absolutely. I mean, the Sixers don't score a point in overtime without Joel Embiid. Just simple as that.
No. So here's all of Joel Embiid's buckets here in that fourth quarter and overtimes. I think he has a steal or a block here coming. Here it is.
Oh, this play was unbelievable. The way he reacted and get that steal, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a steal there. And then Joel Embiid with this ridiculous fadeaway jumper. Oh, yeah. What could have been? They had so many different opportunities to win that basketball game last night. It didn't happen. But the good news is Joel Embiid was getting to the line much better than he has all season long. What did he finish at the free throw line? He had 20-plus attempts. That's like a rarity for the Sixers when Joel Embiid has 20 attempts and the Sixers lose. I bet that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't, man. It does not. So I'm hoping they get back to the win column pretty soon here, Chris, because they've been dropping games left to right here.
Yeah, totally. Ben Bella says Embiid is a problem with no answer.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's, wrap it up. Tiago, where can we find him, man? What do you got going on?
Yeah, so we'll continue to do these now, hopefully more consistently with the way that the schedule's playing out here for the end of the season, the end of the year. They got some tough stretches of games coming up. Boston coming up here on the schedule, so it should be fun. But they got to get it right. They have to start playing better, and hopefully Joel is a big part of that coming back. So better days ahead, and you can always find us here on the Painted Lines and at T Skyby on Twitter.
Awesome. T Skyby on Twitter. Please give him a follow. The best Sixers Twitter follow, period. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. I've got highlights and all the stuff going down today. Some of it's already up. Some will be released in the near future. I've got a Towns versus Embiid matchup video I'll be releasing this morning as well. Just kind of all offense and defensive possessions back to back, and who got the W there. I think it's pretty clear on my end. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching and commenting. Please be sure to smash that subscribe button. For Tiago, for myself, stay awesome, everybody.